Hey designers, a lot of you might be curious about what kind of case study or password presentation helped me land a role at Google and also make it all the way to the final round of interviews at Meta. In this video, I will walk you through how I structured my presentation, what I included and what I left out, plus some tips I really wish I had known earlier in my career. So let's jump in. First, why does a password presentation even matter so much? In my experience, it's actually one of the most important parts of the interview, especially for senior roles or contract roles at big companies like Google or Meta. Here is a quick story. 2 years ago, I went through over 29 interviews and I landed 8 offers. The format and approach I used for my password presentation made a huge difference. It helped me stand out every single time. Structure of the presentation. Now let me break down exactly how I structured my presentation. Number 1, a brief intro. I started by introducing myself, my role on the project and the company, if I was allowed to share it, and what the team setup looked like. Next, problem and context. I clearly explained the problem we were trying to solve and why it mattered to the business or the users. Then, users and research. I shared how we learned about our users, whether it was through the interviews, surveys, usability testing, and what insights came out of that process. Then comes the design process. This is where I talk through the key flows, decisions I made, design iterations in high-level wireframes. I kept it clear and focused, not going screen by screen, but highlighting moments where design decisions really mattered. Next, collaboration. I talk about how I worked with PMs, engineers, and researchers. I also shared a few wins and even 1 or 2 challenges to show how I handled feedback and cross-functional work. Then, impact and results. If you have metrics, this is the time to share them. I included what outcomes we saw and even mentioned things I improved after launch based on user feedback. And finally, what I would do differently. I always mention what I learned and what I would improve if I had a second chance on the same project. What do you think actually made my presentation stand out? Number 1, authenticity. I didn't try to make it perfect. I just showed how I think, how I work, and how I make decisions as a designer. Second, I focused on outcomes, not just pretty visuals. I talked about problems and results, not just pixels. And third, I tailored the presentation. Before the interview, I asked the recruiter what the team was looking for. Then I shaped my story around the skills and experience they wanted to see. Okay, quick tips for your own password presentation. Stick to 1-2 case study unless they ask for more. Practice your storytelling. Seriously, say it out loud at least few times. Keep your slides simple and easy to follow. Use arrows, highlight flows, don't overwhelm the viewer. And always ask the recruiter, what is the team hoping to see in this interview? That one question can change everything. If you want to see the exact password presentation I used, let's dive in. But before we jump in, I recently published a book all about UX design interview. It covers everything from password presentation and whiteboard challenge to app critique and salary negotiation. If you are currently preparing for interviews, I think it's really helpful. You can find the link in the video description or just search UX design interview on Amazon. So now let me share my screen and walk you through my presentation. I will be showing you just one case study today. This one has already been launched. Unfortunately, I can't share my second case study because it's under NDA, but I will still give you insights into how I handled that one too. I also want to point something out. In today's market, interviewers often ask, do you have research experience or have you worked on complex flows? So I prepared some bonus slides to answer those questions if they come up. This is something I highly recommend. After each interview, take a moment to reflect. What did they ask that you didn't expect? Then update your presentation because guess what? A lot of companies ask the same types of questions. Having extra slides prepared shows you're a thoughtful, prepared designer, and it really sets you apart. Alright, now let's jump into the storytelling, and I'll show you exactly how I present my slides during the interview. So let me start. This is my first screen, and I'm telling, "Hi everyone, my name is Sati and I'm Senior Product Designer. And first of all, I want to thank you for your time. Interviewing is a big investment and I truly appreciate the opportunity to share my work with you." Today's presentation, I will start with a quick introduction to my background and experience. Then I will dive into case studies, first Indeed privacy control, and second Indeed profile reimagining, where I worked on enhancing the job seeker experience. Let me quickly walk you through my experience. I have worked across multiple industries, including tech, automotive, and gaming, with a strong focus on consumer-facing products and scalable design solutions. At Indeed, I led the profile initiatives, enhancing job seeker experience for 250 million users and revamping privacy controls, improving access to 145 million profiles. At Lucid Motors, I tackled a complex challenge in the automotive industry by launching a help center, eliminating the need for paper manual and saving $850K annually. I also led localization efforts for Saudi Arabian market, which Lucid's expansion in Saudi Arabia. The company estimates a potential value increase of up to $3.4 billion over the next 15 years. Before that, I was a product designer from A2B, a Germany-based search engine startup. And earlier, I worked at Board Gaming, the gaming company behind World of Tanks. Each of these roles has strengthened my ability to design at scale, collaborate cross-functionally, and deliver impactful user experiences. Over the past 15 years, I have worked in different countries. The photo in the upper right is from my time in Berlin, where I transitioned into the travel industry. Adapting to a new work culture and design processes taught me resilience and adaptability, key skills in UX design where iteration and learning are constant. Here, specifically, I added these slides just to showcase my personality, as well as set their expectation that my English is not perfect, but I try to use this knowledge and experience in my past to benefit my work and skill set right now. Beyond my daily work, I'm passionate about contributing to the design community. On the left, I'm proud to showcase my work, which earned 2 Red Dot Design Awards, part of the over 30 design awards I have won across 11 competitions. On the right, I'm holding my awards jury certificates, and since 2015, I have served 7 times as a jury member for awards and baby awards, evaluating top digital designs. And for me, design is not just about creating. It's all about elevating industry standards and giving back to the design community. So here, I feel like it's important to stand out from the other candidates. If you have any blogs or vlogs, or you publish something, like you have some kind of the book that's related to your UX design skills, you should put it here because it will really make the difference between you and the other candidates. Now let's dive into the Indeed case studies. Indeed is the world's largest job search platform, helping millions of job seekers connect with employers. During my time there, I worked on impactful projects aimed to improving user experience for both job seekers and employers. And here I try to show the company's website and what are they doing, because not a lot of people actually know the company what is doing. And indeed, I was a senior UX UI designer on the profile experience team. My role was highly cross-functional, as a profile-related work touched many different teams. I collaborated closely with legal, native app, and design system teams to ensure compliance, accessibility, and platform-wide consistency. On a daily basis, I work alongside 2 researchers, 2 product managers, and a content designer, ensuring that our design decisions were backed by data and aligned with user needs. Beyond design, I partnered closely with engineers and other product teams. Here, I try to show, first of all, my role, who were I at Indeed, for which department I worked, how long I worked, and also I try to show that I work really close with my cross-functional team, because nowadays, especially big companies, they really want to see in your skill set that you are able to navigate between different teams and solve the problems for the different people and different cross-functional team members. Here I'm showing my experience towards the UX ally reps, and I'm telling it like this. I have always been an advocate for accessibility, ensuring that digital experiences are inclusive for everyone. So at this slide, I wanted to show that at Indeed I took this step further by joining the UX Ally Upskill program, where I was one of just 16 participants across the whole company, and later I became a UX Ally representative, one of only 8 reps at Indeed, driving accessibility improvements at a broader scale. And I'm telling about my results here. I initiated 2 Ally research projects for the profile team, leading efforts to enhance profile accessibility, ultimately achieving 80% of compliance with VCAC 888 standards. Beyond research, I led monthly awareness initiative to ensure accessibility best practices were embedded into our design process. And for me, accessibility isn't an extra step, it's a core part of the good design. And next, I'm showcasing my first case study, and I try to show it in a beautiful visual. I just downloaded it from the internet and entered my designs here. And today I will walk you through 2 case studies, starting with the privacy control improvements. Now I try to talk about the problem, what problems user had. One of the key challenges I tackled was improving the hiring experience for employers. So what problems did employers face? Recruiters often needed more details about job seekers beyond what was listed on their resume. For example, if an employer was looking for a nurse willing to work night shifts, they had no way of knowing this upfront and had to make screening calls just to ask about it. So this process was time-consuming and slowed down hiring. My goal was to make key candidate information more accessible upfront, reducing unnecessary back and forth and helping employers find the right talent faster. And one of the main reasons employers struggled to get additional candidate information was that job seekers were only sharing their resumes by default. And Indeed profile system was built around uploading your resume and marking it as searchable for employers. On the other hand, Indeed had already collected the additional candidate information that employers needed, but it remained hidden. The key issue was that important details like qualifications and job preferences were stored separated, causing duplication, confusion, and missed opportunities. And our goal was to redesign the privacy control for better clarity and transparency. In addition to the previous mentioned issues, privacy control also had UX design challenges. The privacy control feature was hidden under 3-dot menu, making it hard to find. Privacy settings applied only to the resume, not the entire profile, causing inconsistency. An extra layer added friction with an unnecessary click, and many job seekers were unaware of this feature because it was buried 2 clicks away from the main interface. So based on these challenges, our long-term goal was to help employers access more detailed candidate information beyond just resume. This would enhance hiring efficiency by providing richer insights upfront, reducing the need for unnecessary screening calls. And to achieve this, our short-term goal was to improve privacy controls, which previously only covered resumes, to unlock additional job seeker data. I wanted to step up from the presentation here. So usually on that step, recruiters also and hiring managers, they start asking questions like, from where did I get these problems? Did I figure out it myself? Or did somebody give it to me? So I think that this is really important to say. Unfortunately, when I started working on that problem, it was given to me by our business needs. I just entered Indeed and worked there for the few months, so I didn't know the entire problems of our users. So I worked closely with product managers and our researchers to identify this problem. And what I did, I helped to divide this problem into multiple tasks and to make the stages within these different milestones. So be ready to ask the questions, how did you get these problems? Like, did you figure it out yourself? That means that you are like self-motivated designer who can see clearly the whole picture inside of the company and then come back to it with your own solutions and approach. With these goals in mind, I wanted to show the final design upfront before we dive into details, and this gives you a clear picture of where I landed and set the stage of understanding how we got there. And here I'm trying to play smart. I'm trying to show after version of design upfront, because I think that usually the password presentation lasts for a long time, and I can see on the faces of the interviewers that they sometimes really feeling bored and not understanding where I'm going. So to set their expectation that this is what before version, this is how it looked like after, so they will know what to expect in the future. And next I will tell the story how I got there. Let's dive into the design process. When I first started exploring solutions, my goal was to help PMs and the team align on why removing extra privacy control layers was right approach. And here I try to give a little story that when I started working on that, there was misconnections with my product manager, because all product managers don't like to change a lot. So they usually try to move in the simple and most easiest way for engineers and everyone. But here I try to say, like, I found the problem and that we couldn't live with the existed information architecture and we need to simplify it. Not everyone agreed at the first, and one of PM was particularly skeptical about the need of changes. And to address this, we conducted deeper research and usability testing to validate the direction. And the data related clear gaps in how job seekers understood their profile visibility, which helped build consensus around the need for improvement. And here I'm showing that I improved the before version that you can see on the left side, and I made the information architecture more flattened, so you would see this privacy control right up front on the main profile page, as you can see on the right side, design 1, 2, 3. And next I'm showing the iterations. And within these iterations, I'm telling that we had different design system components. So I used the different styles to showcase it on the main page. But my expectations were that design 1 or design 2 will win, because we can see the controller up front, especially in design 1. But I was really surprised based on UX research, what people said. 30% of users preferred this design for its visibility for design 1 and design 2, but 60% felt it was cluttered and occupied excessive space. And design 3 was a winner. 70% of users preferred this design for this clean and concise layout. But there was a little problem that 20% wanted more information visible upfront. So basically what that means, that a lot of people who saw that employers can find you, they didn't understand what that mean, employers can find you, because previously they never activated this privacy control. So they never knew that somebody on employer side actually can actively looking for and searching for your profile on their end, instead of you actively searching the job openings. So they were asking, like, what that mean. Based on their feedback, can you see that I always try to connect founding from the research to the next explorations? Again, founding insight from something like any problem to the next my step. So you can see here the round 2 explorations. On the left side, I left the before version with the winner of the first round. And on the right side, here's the different explorations, how we did this design. So I created the banner with explanation why it is important to make it visible for employers. So here you can see the UX research results already. And for the design A, 100% of users noted the banner design, but 80% admitted they didn't read the information or assumed it was an ad. So we had the high percentage of people who had ad blindness. And that means that if they see any beautiful and bold banners, they automatically assume that it is advertisement and they didn't want to read it. For the design B, only 30% found it engaging enough to explore further. Again, the feedback from the users was that they saw illustration and immediately saw that we are trying to sell something, so they didn't want to read it. And Design C was a winner. 75% of users noticed it and read the note effectively, and some users mistakenly thought that the blue color signaled the status complete, so they told that indeed logo have a blue color and here the banner had a blue color, and they automatically thought that the blue color is something good, so they don't need to change anything. But actually this banner signaled them that they are not findable, they need to be findable, and they need to switch on this privacy control. For the next design, I am showing again the final design recap. You see here I am telling again that before version the privacy control was hidden, the privacy control affect the resume only and not the entire profile, an extra level adds an accessory click for the users, and many job seekers was not aware about this control. For this presentation I used the Figma slides. What's cool with it that you can enter here the exact prototype, and I think that when you are doing your interview they often ask, do you know how to make prototypes? So here you don't need to say it, you just can show it. I could just click through this prototype and show them like, hey, here I decided to implement the color scheme for the green color if you're searchable and yellow color if you are not searchable, based on the feedback that I got from the blue color from the previous round of research. And after that, I could click on this privacy control and I could switch it off, and then color will be changed to the yellow. And I explained that I had the few colors palettes, and we also had red color, but red color we use for design system only when there is a really critical error that person really needs to stop and do something, and this is what not this situation, so that's why I changed it to the yellow color. So what's changed? Employers can find you status. We're moved to more prominent position to the first level of the profile page and making it immediately noticeable to job seeker. It simplified and reduced the number of clicks needed to access key settings. And next, I also had the data from UX research, and I'm showing this data on my last slide here. I had improvement by 20% in feature adoption rate post redesign, because previously people didn't see this feature and they didn't use it. And this milestone prepared for profiles. Million profiles used to represent job seekers to employers. And next, I should talk about the case study number 2, how I redesigned the Indeed profile within the Indeed profile reimagining project. What was changed, why, how I merged the data, why I did it, and I explaining like different levels. But here I already not showing actually interfaces iterations, because I try to show the different parts of my skill set in a different case studies. So for example, if in my previous case study I showed my skills with UI design, my collaboration within the cross-functional team, and how I did UX research and prototypes to my researcher, here I try to showcase something different. And here I showcase how I work with engineers, how we solve the problem of how we merge the data, are we going to use AI or not, why we are not going to use it, or why we are going to use it, the reasons behind these all solutions. And I am less showing the UIs and iterations and more showing how I did this job from the different perspective, how I collaborated with the different departments to make it work. So you understand my point of view. You should show in the different case studies the different points of your skill set. And in the end, because I made really quick walk through the second case study to showcase the scope, I am showing the last slide, which consists desktop version and mobile web version, because usually they ask, did you work on desktop too? It shows that yes, I worked within the different platforms at the same time. And here I'm showing like I worked and designed around over 72 case screens, overworked around over 20 use cases, and it was within mobile web and desktop web. And then I'm showing key results for the second case study. And as a final like cherry on the top to finalize my interview on the strong points, I also added like one extra bonus project that I think that will show me in the benefit lights, especially right now when AI is really the thing in the market. Because right now a lot of companies like Apple, Indeed, LinkedIn, they are thinking about AI. So here I'm showing and talking about my initiatives beyond my core responsibility at Indeed. And here I'm showing that I also aim to elevate the overall profile experience and to explore new ideas outside the day-to-day work. I used our internal hackathon as an opportunity to prototype enhancements of the profile. And what I did, my contribution was that I involved my mentee and researcher into the team to make it more precise. I also led the interface design and presentation design. And the product itself was to leverage AI to tailor resumes for specific job roles. And it's right now also available on the third company that Indeed own, resume.com. So this is not new. That's why I am allowed to show it here right now. Based on this hackathon, what's the result we achieved? We achieved a 75% of increase in extracted taxonomy attributes from resume experiences and improving from 4 to 7 attributes to on average. So I'm talking here about the stats that we improved using this AI agent. Besides that, our team won People Choice Site Award for Americans region and EMEA region. And also we took the first place of Best Use of Design System Award. And here to showcase it, I'm showing the not prototype but video because I want to not walk through the prototype but talking about this AI integration to the profile. And beside that, in the end, I'm telling that this hackathon project outside of hackathon and actually it was implemented in real product in real life with a different team at Indeed. I'm finalizing that thank you very much for listening me, for having your time here, and if you have any questions please let me know. And after that, usually interviewers starting asking the questions, or at the beginning I ask them if they're comfortable to stop me, please stop me, and I'm usually asking these questions. As I told before, usually I track which gaps do I have in my presentation, and after that, when I have these gaps, I prepare specifically to answer these questions, like extra slides on my presentation. So for example, one of my interview with Google, the interviewer asked me where she can see the flow, where people can see these privacy control changes before I started working on that. And I was thinking, yeah, actually I'm losing the part. I didn't show the flow that usually people were able to access this privacy control. So specifically for this reason, I made this slide where I show like before it was available only on the apply flow and the other flows that I cannot show you right now because it's really long. So I would show you only on apply flow. So whenever you upload a resume and we are parsing it, then you answer some questions. And then in the end of this flow, you will see this privacy control that you would never see again in your life because it would be missed in these layers afterward. Or for example, if they had the questions, like I had the interview with DoorDash, have you ever had the experience to make research? So I prepared slides from my experience at Lucid Motors because there I worked for the smaller team, and I'm explaining that at Indeed there was dedicated UX research department who I work with, but at Lucid Motors it was more like startup team, and sometimes I didn't have dedicated researcher, so I worked with research and do research myself, and I quickly show my different slides, how I did the design. And here's like I have really good photos from our research lab inside of the office and how I made research inside of this lab and how I get this different stats and how it affected the decision in the end of the day. So be prepared to answer as much questions as possible. If they ask this question, that means that it's important for them to know that you did this job, and don't say, no, I didn't. Try to come up with a slide, especially upfront, to showcase these needs. So that's it. If this video helped you, give it a like, subscribe, and stay tuned. More content is coming soon. Thanks so much for watching.